Hi, Tavius here. Just wanted to talk to you today about something that for me has been a little frustrating, and for a lot of you out there has probably been the same way. And that is being in the situation where people look at you and question your disability. And they say sometimes you're a faker, quack, whatever. And for myself, I've been through it and understand where you're probably at. Just to kind of give you a little of my story. Back in 2006, 2007, I had gotten myself into a situation where I was in awesome shape. I'd gone to the gym on a regular basis, had a great job, was working with people who I really got along with, doing something I loved doing, which was system administrator for a clinic. And like I say, some great people around me, and even got to a point where I decided to start dancing. And I was dancing 3 to 4 nights a week, doing ballroom dancing. And overall, doing very well. I'd actually gone to be of assistance with my sister in Oregon as she was dealing with breast cancer herself. And what happened was one day I woke up with absolutely no clue where I was. And this was a little frustrating, obviously, to not know where I am. Turns out, even though I'd been living in Oregon, I was down in Utah, and I had been visiting my kids. And I had absolutely no recollection of this. Seeing my camera on my phone, I noticed that I had a lot of pictures from the prior day where I had actually visited with the kids, had gone with them to Zion Park, and had a pretty good day with them. But the next day I had absolutely no recollection. Whenever I woke up, my mother, who had gone down there with me, she insisted I go to the ER. And, you know, the memories gradually came back, sort of. But we went to the ER, and after they did some testing, they said, well, turns out what you've been dealing with, you had a grand mal seizure, and you have a brain tumor. This is going to require immediate operation, or you could die over it. Obviously, there wasn't a whole lot of choice about what to do. So I went. We did insist on going back to Oregon at least so I could be where I was home to get this done. And so I got there, went through the surgery. The doctor said, okay, we're going to go through all this. Now, while we're at it, you're going to need to stop going to the gym, which I was doing, 3 to 5 times a week. You're going to have to stop doing any strenuous exercise like dancing. And you're going to have to essentially stop working and stop doing anything with your life. Those of you who may have been through this, it's frustrating. Those of you who haven't been through it, just understand it's not something, whenever you've got yourself in a groove where everything is perfect, going awesome, and then you're told all of a sudden you can't do anything that you had been doing just a week before. So this is where I was. And on completing the surgery, I did come through it okay, although I did end up with a staph infection. As you can see here, though, I actually do have a scar in my head. It is an actual hole in my head. There is no bone there. And because of the seizures I've had, both grand mal and petit mal seizures, work is not really an option. Now, after I've been going for a little while, I tried my hand at getting back to work. I was fortunate in having long-term disability, which meant that even though I wasn't working, I still had my income from the prior job. But I decided I'd give it a shot because I just didn't like being dependent on a government program. I actually wanted to have control of my life again. So I went into a sales job. I had done sales before and tried my hand at it, but really it didn't work out for me very well. And on doing that, I did it for about a month and then just couldn't handle it. Which, a lot of people, whenever they hear that, say, "Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. You're a quack. There's nothing. You're totally a faker, and there is absolutely no reason you can't be working. You're just lazy." Now, a lot of you may have heard this, and I've heard it. But quite honestly, the seizures I've had, I had the grand mal seizure to start all this, which was, for those of you who've not experienced it or not seen it, it is when a person loses total control of their body, starts thrashing around, absolutely no consciousness involved, and all you're doing is, I've actually seen this way before it ever happened to me, a long time ago, and the only thing you can do for this kind of person is stand back and let them get through it. You can't try and hold them or anything like this, because they or you may end up being even further injured. For myself, I had this originally when I woke up that day. That's what they said I'd had. Now, after that, I had what were called petit mal seizures. These are where you forget everything. It's like, the way I experienced it for me is I would all of a sudden have this little, what they call an aura, like a feeling like something's about to happen, like you're getting lightheaded and everything else. And then suddenly, I'm gone. For sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes a minute, but I come back and it's like I don't remember things for the last hour or so. And for those of you who've experienced this, you know what I mean. It's not a pleasant thing. And because of that, things like driving, a standard job, anything that requires extensive thinking is a lot of times out of the question. I mean, any conventional job, this just doesn't happen. Now, a little later, I had gotten to a place where I had reconnected with a person I went to school with. That's now my fiancée, and I'd come out to Wisconsin to be with her. Now, coming out here, people that hadn't seen this just didn't get it. And this is where I really got the people saying, "Yeah, why don't you just get a job? You can go walk down to town or whatever." But when you consider that I could be walking and all of a sudden have one of these seizures and then get totally lost because I had no clue where I was, even though I might be, a quarter of a mile from my house. It just didn't really work out that I was very easily able to get a job. I did try. And I tried another job, again, selling, and it, again, really didn't work out. I just didn't have the focus to really drive it. So with this, I kind of concluded that a standard job, a regular 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, 8 to 6 or whatever, just didn't work for me. With that, then, I still wanted to be independent. I wanted to have my own life and my own ability to create my future. And that's why I started with the program I'm doing right now, which, for those of you who are familiar with my previous blogs, it is blogging. I write these blogs, and for myself and several others who've been disabled and don't have any other option, this is what we do. And some people who are able, you go out, and some people just want to work from home. They want to have more time. And for me, I don't focus on my disability. I focus on my ability. What are the things I can do? So this is where I started to blog. I know how to write. I've always known how to write, and even if I lose track of things for a minute, I can reread what I have and find where I was and go ahead and continue on. Now, for those of you who are at home looking for a decent way to work, this is an option. I mean, I know people who are unable to stand up, people who are actually bound to their bed and unable to even lay on their back, who are making a lot of money doing this. For myself, I've even started to see some money myself, and when you're on a situation where you have a very limited income, like my first sale that happened to me, I all of a sudden had $25. It was just a little notice, you made a commission, it's $25. Now realize that's $25 extra a month, so this is continuing. And a little bit later I had another one that you've made a commission, $25. So here it was, I just got a raise, and you know, $50 may not seem like a lot to a lot of people, but those of you who understand this and know you have no option for overtime or anything like this, this is a way you can all of a sudden start changing your life little by little. And that's what happened to me. And you know, shortly thereafter, when I got another commission saying I just made $100 and realized this is $150 now that I'm getting every month because of what I'm doing with this blogging. It's really a big thing to help free a person. And then, you know, shortly after I got another one, said you've made $25. So here I am, all of a sudden I'm making $175 more than I had been. And whenever you're on a limited income for a long time, $175 can make a huge difference. Now, for those of you who get this, who have been on disability, who have been called the fake or the fraud, this kind of thing can make a big difference. For those of you who don't get it, you know, I'm sorry, but there are people too that are making a lot more, that are going and, you know, making a couple thousand a month or way more than that. And the nice thing is that these are recurring, which means every time you get a $25 or $100 commission, it adds up. I mean, if you got 5 of those, that's an extra $500 a month. And even if you go slow at it, it still gets there. And that's what's awesome. I mean, true, not everybody is going to make anything with this. Anybody can have all the tools and not use them and just go part way and all of a sudden decide, oh, it's not happening fast enough, and quit. For those people, you know, you're not going to make a penny. But other people have gone out there and made a lot of money. I mean, when you talk about people that are making $5,000 a month, and some of them started from being unemployed or not having an option, and some of them did it part-time over their job. And hey, I don't know about you, but I could use an extra $5,000 a month. Even an extra $1,000 a month makes a huge difference. So for those of you who really are trying to get this, just think about it and realize you have it in you to make a change in your life. You can do what I'm doing. I mean, I'm disabled and I can do it. Now, again, I don't focus on being disabled, but the fact of the matter is I can't drive, I can't work a regular job, I can't just go out there and pick up your run-of-the-mill job. So what I've done is I chose to do what I'm doing with blogging. So for those watching this video, take a look at the bottom. There's a little button down there, and it says, you know, get started. It's 100% commissions, which means that $25 that you put out to get started, one sale of that means you've got your money back. And all you got to do is click the button down below, get started, and there are amazing tools on the other side. So I will be glad to see you here working with me to go ahead and build an amazing future for you. I don't care what your situation is, disabled, able, it doesn't matter. Just click the button down below, sign up, and let's get going. Thanks.